This is Tanya T. Morris, President and founder of Mom Your Business, and you're watching the 7-Figure Hustle. Welcome back to the 7-Figure Hustle. I'm Tanya T. Morris, President and founder of Mom Your Business, and I'm your host today on the 7-Figure Hustle. So now I want to tell you what we're going to be talking about, and this is going to be 7 dynamite power-packed topics on the 7-Figure Hustle. They're really going to roll just like this. Whatever's hot, whatever's happening, we're going to talk about fashion, sports and entertainment, politics, relationships, finance, and business. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eliza Dukes, CEO of The Breathing Experience, and you are watching the 7-Figure Hustle.
A protection plan that we actually been talking about is financial literacy and how you protect your family, your finances, your credit, and your future. So basically, we get into helping our community understand financial literacy, especially from a credit aspect. So what more would you like to know, Toni?
What's involved with the protection plan? How does it protect you? What are some of the elements in the plan?
The first thing is to educate our community on how powerful credit is. We used to think cash was king, but credit is power, because those 3 digits change everything, whether you're employable, whether you can get a decent insurance rate, just the ability to be able to purchase a home or a car. So credit is basically the trade line of everything today.
It's like know your numbers, right?
Yes, yes. And so since we offer a protection plan, we get further than just giving you a higher credit score. We're going to teach you how to budget. We're going to teach you how to find out what your net worth is. And I like to just show you how to protect your finances by teaching you how to budget, how to find out what your net worth is, and how about giving you a plan to be out of debt. So besides just financial literacy, how about do you know the difference in a will and a trust? We have to teach our family and our friends the difference of why you need more than just a will. You want to have a trust so that you can save your family and your loved ones on that inheritance taxes, because that's a big part of that whole, the word would be estate, because when we leave this earth, we start thinking about what assets did someone leave behind. So instead of leaving debt and problems, let's have that stuff taken care of and put in a trust so that it will be all formatted and leave your family debt free and just able to just transition without having that financial burden.
Awesome nuggets, because I just experienced a family member of mine just passed, and he doesn't have will, he doesn't even have insurance. So I'm experiencing that right now. So it's very important that families have protection.
Absolutely. So that's why we like to protect everything from your finances to your lifestyle, because it's more to financial literacy than just a credit score. So I'm just happy to be here to help out and give this information to our community.
Well, I got started, I want to say, about 7 years ago. I was working for a law firm, and I'd come out of counseling for about 15 years, going into law, thinking I wanted to be this attorney. And I found that the rat race of just business and just coming to work and dealing with personality types and just the up and down flow of people and just the systems, computer systems alone. If you stay looking at the computer for hours, you get locked in before you know it. You've not moved around, you know what I mean? You've been in a blank space. Sometimes they call it the black hollow space. And when you get up, you can't even think straight. That's what was going on with me.
Wow.
So I got laid off in 2012 on high blood pressure medication because it was just insane. You know, I've always had a second business on top of doing a regular job. And I found that when I'd come home from work, I would be sitting on the couch just thinking. And I don't know what I'd be thinking about. Just exhausted. So I started doing some research. Started doing some research, and breathing came up. And I was looking for some holistic remedies because the doctor gave me some medication that gave me side effects immediately. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. You know, they always tell you the #1 killer is stress. And I don't think we really realize that, how much stress takes over our body, takes over our mind. It was affecting my sleep and my attitude. And I'm naturally a happy person. But when I got an attitude, oh, it was terribly funky. I didn't even like myself, you know? So I realized that I needed to go back to school. So I got certified in stress management, went back to school for reflexology and kept building, you know what I mean? My understanding to say, you know, how can I put this into a formula that allows me to process through the stress while I'm feeling it? Most of us wait to the end of the day and we're exhausted. But when you're feeling it is the time to get out of it. Because that's when you can refresh yourself. You know how you push that refresh button on the computer? You should be able to do that for yourself consistently.
And I think that's part of my situation, because I don't like to use the word suffer from anxiety, but I have anxiety, and I go to therapy twice a week, believe it or not, for anxiety, because I want to be a 7-figure income earner.
Absolutely.
But because of the things I'm going through mentally, and I have physical as well, I'm still determined to make it happen. And they're telling me that I should do this and do that. In other words, not push through. And as you said, as far as medicine side effects, I've gotten side effects. And even like now, I'm shaking. This is my show, but I did this show to let people understand, even though we're going through this, go get therapy. Therapy used to be a dirty word. You need to. I go and I talk about, really, I talked about y'all this weekend. And one thing about my therapist, he can't tell y'all what I say. So with that being said, I think it's very important for people to understand you need to talk to some people. You need to have a program where you know how to breathe throughout the day. Take a breathing moment. Because like I said, I hate to use the word suffer. Because in my opinion, I'm not suffering from anything. I just have anxiety. And as y'all know, I can get a little crazy. But with that being said, and the things that you had me do, the breathing, it actually helped. And with this whole panel, because I kind of came out to y'all before we came on the show to tell you exactly what I deal with, exactly who I am, and I asked for your help. Right. And I appreciate because y'all really helped me. So I'm comfortable now. So, so with that being said, I want to encourage other people. Just learn what you're teaching.
Yes. I just want to say that there's a budget plan. Why isn't there a stress management plan?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We have to have a plan for everything, but we have to take care of ourselves and realize that if we want to live the quality of life that we deserve to have, we got to take that pause, let that stuff go, and refresh ourselves.
Because everything is stressful now. TV used to shut off at 1 o'clock at night and come back on 6 in the morning. Kids sometimes don't start watching TV until 1 o'clock, and they're up and they're in school tripping. Yeah. And it means a lot to a lot of people to understand what you need to do to be on that 7-figure hustle. It's not just about spending your money or don't spend your money, save more than you spend, because anxiety, bills, pressure is going to come. Being an entrepreneur is an up and down, it's a roller coaster. Right. And if you don't use all the mechanisms that you have and learn them, you're not going to make it. Because a lot of us is not making it because we get to a certain point and then we don't know where else to go. And that was my situation. I would get to a point because it wasn't hard for me to get anything. It was hard for me to keep what I got. Okay. Because here come the stress, here come the fear, here come the anxiety.
Everybody doesn't really want to hear the shining rainbow story, the rainbow part about the story. Yeah. I don't want to hear about the lollipops and the gumdrops and the Benz you drive and the Gucci shoes. I want to kind of hear well, how can you relate? Because I have none of that. So it gets kind of hard when you don't really explain, that one day when I still, even as a business owner, and I didn't know how my kids were going to eat, and my phone got cut off, and I'm waiting for an important call to have this person come on my show. You know, you have to be transparent about that struggle, because that's how people relate and see this can be done.
And Paul, we're going right back there, but you touched on something that, and then what I'm going to address, I want you can follow up on this part. You said something about, I'm not concerned about all the, most people don't want to hear all about the Gucci and all that, but the reality is that's what attracts people, right? So we know that where we are with this question, but I want to add something on, and I know you're going to demolish it, right? So how do we engage our sisters and in our community to level up, to get to where we are without having to have all that? Because a lot of times in entrepreneurship, if you don't feel like you've made it until you have a certain car. So here I am on TV, but I'm not driving a Bentley.
Right.
You understand? I'm on TV, but I'm not, traveling to Bali every other week.
Exactly.
So how do we get them to understand that this is the rough part? Success, because I'm on a television show, or because you see me moving and shaking, does not mean that the millions come. This is the process. This is the leveling up. And how do we engage them with that without having all the glitz and glamour? I get what you're saying, but Dr. D, the transparency piece is, I stand on that. But if we're going to, especially the millennial, because we have to build up us and the next generation, right? To bring them in, how do we engage them without having all of that?
Well, I think one of the other side of the coin of this conversation is something about doing versus being.
Come on.
Okay, so everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do.
Exactly.
And so do is doing the work. Do is saying, I have to start from the bottom to get to the top.
Right.
And I'm in that process of doing is when I become authentic. Doing is when I be more of a server than a leader. Because anybody that serves is automatically a leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's about perspective. And so we got to bridge that gap to help people understand, instead of I want to be her, or I want to be him, or I want to be in this place where you should have been did this. No, what are you doing to get to that place? We do it by empirical evidence. Empirical evidence for me is tangibleness. See where I am now. Let me show you tangibly. Let me bring you my sister. Like these two sisters here. They shared an idea. She said she thought about it. They began to do. Instead of just being, they saw their lives being somewhat falling apart. As I thought I heard you say, there was some struggles there, but then they start doing. And bringing people along so they can go along that journey. Mom is doing it. She's in the trenches. She's showing, husband sees, she's doing. So let me carry a bag. So we can bring people in to show this is what I'm doing, rather just being and you seeing. I ain't trying to rhyme,
more people.
but the truth of the matter is, you see that? I got bars. 7-figure hustle. It's doing versus being.
And if more people, if more of us would do and show what we do, and not just want to be in the spotlight once we are.
And we share it.
Yes,
sharing it.
And I think
sharing
sometimes
it. Yes.
we fail to listen. We have some that reach out, but we don't know how to listen. I think that kind of faltered to the wayside as the generations have come along. We fail to listen and say, you know what, I hear you. Let's sit down. Let's make some goals. Let's make some objections and get you on that path to be whatever goal you have.
And let's share our resources.
This is a visual. This is a visual generation.
Yeah.
If they don't see it, they don't believe it.
Right.
I also believe too, the key thing now, so much into sharing it, is communication.
Yes.
Because a lot of us walk past each other. And that woman that might have saw you in the grocery store all the time is admiring you and saying, wow, look at what is she doing? She's doing something about her,
Because we've lost the art of communication.
If we don't just open our mouths and say hello, that might have been an opening for her to say, what do you do?
Right.
But I was looking to start something too. And then we just feed off of that. We share the opportunity of any business, or everybody don't want to own a business. Let's do that.
And if everyone owns a business, then we don't have no customers.
No, okay.
Or no workers.
Okay, I don't have no workers. I don't have. I'm doing.
If everybody the boss, who's gonna work for me?
Listen, but
But they do
they do want to be better, or have be set up a little bit differently than what they are. They may just need some help with organization. Let me help you organize your money. Because as business owners, we gotta know that.
Right.
So that is something that we can also assist with, managing our time. There's other things other than let me help you start a business.
Exactly.
Everybody don't want to
That
start a
is not-
business.
and
Everybody
that-
wanna force
and
feed.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people, soon as they feel they have a gift, oh, I got to take this to the market. But see, if we would understand where the gift came from, so if God gave us the gift, God will also give us the direction. And if He has not given you that direction, here's where a lot of us women, and because it's when we're going to stay here, right, in that moment, a lot of women, what we do is we jump ship. Oh, I have a gift. She's doing and the same thing that I'm good at. So now I'm going to start a business like what she's doing, and you fail miserably. Because that wasn't what God had intended for you. So that's very, you guys are sharing some good nuggets here. This is bridging the gap. Right here. This is bridging the gap. You wanted to say something, Nicole? I'm sorry.
I just feel like with social media, the kids today, they want that fast. They want it fast. They don't want to have to work hard to get it. They just want to be like, okay, let's go. And it's not like that.
Right.
It's an everyday process. You got to work hard for it to make it.
Yeah.
Like our business wouldn't be where it's at today if we thought it was going to happen overnight.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And you get discouraged along the way. That's the transparency part. You do get discouraged because you do sometimes want not just the tangible of how, of what I'm doing, but sometimes you want to see the rewards. Like if I'm going to be honest, there's sometimes I'm like, I just want, like, let me just see a little bit. And then when it doesn't happen, sometimes that frustration. But what happens to do is as you continue to do, you start to learn more and more.
That's the
and your
beauty.
patience gets so much better. Your faith gets so much stronger. And those are the things, those things are the intangibles that you must have in order to receive the tangible.
That's the beauty of success. The beauty of success is the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all in the process.
It's the process. That's the pruning. And I told a young lady the other day, I said, you're in the season of pruning and prodding. And if you can look at that pruning and prodding is intrusive, but it's beneficial for cultivating and you becoming who you are.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. So, ladies, lastly, what can we do now? So do we say, let's start a program? Do we reach out to some communities? Because what I find is, matter of fact, I want to change that. I want to reframe that. What are you going to do differently leaving here today to share your platform and the awareness of what it is that you do, but not only with people who are in your industry?
Right.
Because if you're sticking with just the people in your industry, how can you service these people over here? And how can you connect, right? But what are you going to do moving forward that's going to say, I'm going to reach out to more organizations or whatever it is, right? What are you going to do, Just Jocelyn?
Well, Just Jocelyn is going to, of course, continue to just be me, try to just continue to inspire and motivate. What I have learned, and I like that you spoke on social media, because I am a media personality, so to speak. So, social media works in a benefit for me, and it's not tangible funds generating. My show has been going for 2 years, and there's no actual finances that come from it. I don't get paid or anything like that, but I do get rewarded with those DMs and those inboxes and those emails. Like Jocelyn, I watched this one episode of Talk to Me Tuesday, and it had me turn my suicidal thoughts around. Those are the rewards. So the way I see it is just continue to do what it is. If you are authentic in your motives, like you spoke on, if you're authentic in your motives and your reasonings behind what you're doing, if it's money, then it's money. But be honest with that. I know that my calling and my purpose and the reason why I do what I do is not about money, because if it was, I would have been quit. So it's just going to continue to reach out and understand that if your motives are true, then it will always be rewarding, whether it's one person or 10 people.
Outstanding.
So for me, I believe when you know better, you do better. And so because if they don't know who I am, I'm going to do a one-page summary. I'm going to those places where they don't know who I am to spread the message and to go in there and do my motivational speaking and share my campaign.
Outstanding. So are we all pretty much in agreement with that? Like, we're going to do more. We're going to get out there and do more. Well, listen, it was my pleasure to have each and every one of you. Sincerely, I thank you. The great you thank you. And of course, we thank you for being a part of today's topic on the seven-figure hustle.
Welcome back to the Seven Figure Hustle. I am your host, Toni T. Morris, president and founder of Mom Your Business. So on today's show, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and my vision and what it is that we're trying to do at Mom Your Business. Our mission is simply to support mompreneurs by connecting them to resources and opportunities that lead to success in business and in life. And so what does that mean? What that means is that throughout my career, I have spent the majority of my career in nonprofit, and I have helped moms do everything from purchase their first home, improve their credit, start a business, find a new career. And so for me, Mom Your Business really is my life's work. It is the culmination of years of time that I have spent doing what it is that I believe that I'm placed on this planet to do, which is helping people. I want to change lives. It's really just that simple. And if that's helping you to grow your business, then that's what I'm going to do. If it's helping you to start your business, then that's what we're going to do. If it's helping you just mentoring and being a supportive ear, we're going to do that as well. And so how do we do what we do? How do we help mompreneurs? How do we support you? Well, we do that in three ways. One is mentoring. I don't believe mentoring is what we do. I actually believe mentoring is part of who I am. Mentoring for me is walking with someone and really taking them and depositing into them what God has given me, all of the, the experiences, the trials, the good, and helping them to grow. The next thing that we do is coaching. And so we have a dynamic coaching program. It's called From Beginners to Winners. And so we really take you from soup to nuts of whatever it is that you are looking to accomplish, your goals that you're looking to accomplish. If it's starting a business, we're going to come up with a plan. We're going to give you 7 steps, just like the seven-figure hustle, to being successful in achieving your goals. And then the last thing is strategic planning. One of my mentors once told me, everybody doesn't need a business plan, but everybody needs a plan to do business. And so strategic planning is so important. I do a session called the one-page business plan. And some people might say, one-page business plan? I thought you had to have 30, 40 pages. No, you don't really need to have 30 or 40 pages, but I do what's called a lean business plan. So I'm going to show you a creative way of taking that idea that you have, taking that baby that you have, taking that hustle that you have, and turning it into a viable, profitable business. And so that's one of our sessions. Then we have our coaching program, which is From Beginners to Winners. We also do live webinars. Once a month, I do a live webinar on our YouTube page on different topics. Our next topic is going to be how to grow your business through certification. We're going to show you how to become a woman-owned small business, a certified woman-owned small business, and what that means to you, and by ways of contracts and working with the government and really finding another stream of income. So that's something else that we're going to do. And then one of my most passionate things to do is events. We do a lot of special events. We just finished our first annual Legends Business Gala that was held in October. And so our next special event, I'm going to probably do something in November. We'll do something around the holiday session, a vision board party. Then in January. So that's what we do. Strategic planning, mentoring, coaching, but we do a host of other things. Marketing. Marketing is really one of my favorite things to do. In addition to that, we do we're going to have some dynamic special events, some great guests. 2020 is going to be our year. We're going to help you get some of that chatter, baby. So listen, stay tuned for the Seven-Figure Hustle. We're going to be talking about 7 subjects, all hustle. So let's look at a couple of our subjects. So we got business. Right now, of course, I'm going to talk to you about how to mom your business. I'm going to talk to you about how to get that 7-figure hustle. Studies show that typical entrepreneurs must have, or everyone should have, at least 7 streams of income. So we're going to talk a lot about that in business and looking at the different trends in business and different stories that are breaking in business. Then we're going to talk about finance, right? Now we're really talking about financial management. I know some really great financial management experts that we're going to bring on the show to talk to you about everything from savings, stocks and bonds, financial planning, retirement, all of those great things. Then fashion. We just had the fashion district just open up downtown Philly. So we're going to talk about fashion. We're going to talk about sports and entertainment. I'm a huge sports fan. I have a son who is an amazing. I might use him for a couple of segments to talk about movie reviews and things like that. We're going to talk about politics. I know 2020 is a big year politically. Listen to me. If you're not registered to vote, get out, register to vote. 2020 is a big year. We're going to pick another president. You want to also make sure that you're counted in the U.S. Census this year. That's very important. Health and wellness, which is something I know is very near and dear to Toni J's heart. We're going to be talking about health and wellness, how you can take care of yourself. Your self-care is big for entrepreneurs. Listen, as a mompreneur, as an entrepreneur, you have a lot of stuff going on. You're trying to figure out how to balance your work and balance your life and deal with your family, and you got kids in school. Maybe you're going to school yourself. So health and wellness, mentally, physically. We're going to talk about diet in the health and wellness segment. So we're going to have a lot of stuff going on in our segments on the 7-Figure Hustle. And guys, all of that is connected to the 7-Figure Hustle. You can get your hustle on in each one of those segments, each one of those sessions, each one of those industries. And so what we're going to do on our show is connect you and show you how you're going to be able to get your hustle on in each one of those areas. Don't forget to watch us. We're live streaming on PhillyCAM.org, on Verizon. We're on, I got to get that 29 and 30. So just keep rolling, Miss Toni. I don't want to cut because I want to just be able to.
5, 4, 3.
And guys, all of this is connected to the 7-Figure Hustle. And these are 7 areas where you can get your hustle and get that 7 stream of income going. I've talked to millionaires. I know that each one of them have worked in these different areas at some point. You start and you begin. This is all part of your journey. You might not think 7 figures when you think about politics, but it's there. You might not think 7 figures in business. You may not know which one of these areas is going to be the one that's going to lead you on that journey to earning those 7 figures. Welcome back to Toni J's 7-Figure Hustle. I'm your host, Tanya T, and that's it. That's how you connect the dots to that 7 streams of income, that 7-figure hustle. I've talked to millionaires. I've known experts. They're all going to be coming and bringing you all the information, resources, interviews, segments, powerful pieces of inspiration so that you can generate that 7 figures just like they have. So don't forget, you can listen to the 7-Figure Hustle every Tuesday, 9 a.m. live stream, 106.5 FM on your radio dial. But you can watch us every Sunday, 5 p.m. live, PhillyCAM.org, or on Comcast channels 966, Verizon channels 29 and 30. Thank you again for joining me. I've been your host, Tanya T. Morris, and you're watching Toni J's 7-Figure Hustle.